good day.
Hello.
Thought I'd vary up the little introduction there.
It wasn't very varied, I'm sorry.
That's depressing. Anyway, we're back.
We're back.
Woo!
And
I mean, it doesn't seem as long for people at home.
I will say, though, that this is now the first video we're officially filming this side of my wedding.
Yes.
There it is.
You got married to your lovely wife.
I did.
We'll put up some pictures. Here we are. Look at them on their wedding day. Aren't they beautiful?
I'll need to send you those for the edit now.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I can just go on Instagram and steal them.
Oh. Well.
What are we here to do today?
Well, because it's been a while.
It has been a while.
We're going to do a recap of a bunch of films that we've seen over the past few months that we haven't reviewed, but we'll give them each little pockets where we'll talk about them now.
And we're just going to go through and basically give a real quick review, and then at the end we're going to do quick fire round ratings. Yes, I forgot what the word was. Quick fire round scores.
That's okay. By the time you're editing this,
yes,
you'll have remembered all of the words you need.
Yes, correct. And this time I get to be mean to you in the edit.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
With that, let's go.
Yeah. So, we're getting into it. Yes. What is it, Rob?
Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods.
Correct.
Yes.
I don't think there's a 2 in the title.
I think there is.
All right, Alice, this is your time to shine. Bring it up. And if there isn't a 2 in the title, just do a little silly thing on him. I don't know. Figure it out. We'll be fine. I'm going to have so much fun with this. Anyway.
Shall I talk about the film now?
Yeah, talk about the film. What do you think?
What do I think?
Real quick recap. Shazam 2.
It's the sequel to Shazam 1.
Yep, and except now all of his friends have superpowers as well.
Spoiler alert for best moment of Shazam 1. Yeah, so sequel to Shazam 1, and I think for those who did see Shazam 1, it was a modest hit. We all know that it was a really fresh feeling, fun, summer action, popcorn, comedy, parody, retro style superhero film.
So you're meant to be reviewing number 2.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
And if I'm going to compare, Shazam 2 to Shazam 1, if Shazam 1 is like Ghostbusters 1, Shazam 2 is Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, that's sad.
Yes. So there's no real reason why it shouldn't be as good because it has all the same elements. It just isn't as good.
It's just not good.
It's just not as good. It's not as fun. It's not as new anymore. And it doesn't have the X factor.
Do you recommend it?
No.
Oh.
I think I came out of it feeling nothing. I came out of being like, well, it met the requirements of a film. It had actors in it. It had special effects. It had action scenes. It had a plot. It had fun moments. I came out of it, and this is going to shock a lot of people. I pretty much, yes, but I pretty much got sick of superhero films upon watching it. I came out of it.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, coming from
because we literally went to the comic book shop the other day for you to buy superhero comics.
Yeah, and I came out of this film being like, I never want to see another superhero film ever again. It's not even the worst superhero movie I've ever seen.
It's just ruined.
I felt nothing.
That's moving on. And now we're going to get to Dungeons and Dragons, the film I saw last night, Honor Among Thieves. And happily, we're going to have some positivity today because it was really, really good. For those who don't know, it is a reboot adaptation of the Dungeons and Dragons series on film, which has never really been done properly or like successfully.
There was one in the 2000s, I think.
I stand by what I said.
Yeah.
And some big names like Regé-Jean Page, Chris Pine, Justice Smith, the girl from It, and Michelle Rodriguez. And actually, I think she might have been my favorite character. And also, so what I will say, it is a film that is really great if you're into D&D, as I am. But if you don't play D&D and you don't know anything about it, you're not going to be alienated because of it. And I think that was going to be a big part of it because you want to cater to the audience of people that play D&D, your Joe Manganiellos of the world. But oh yeah, he's very famous for being like a DM. He runs a weekly campaign with celebrities and stuff. He's like really into D&D. I'm shocked he doesn't have a cameo, to be perfectly honest. But you don't want to, you want to cater to them, but you also want to make sure it's enjoyable for the wider public. And it was just a really fun adventure film. Like, even my partner, I dragged Toby along. He didn't want to go. And then halfway through the film, he's like, this is good. And I was like, I know. And then at the end, he was even like, no flaws. I enjoyed that. That's pretty much what you can expect. Let's move on.
Great.
Okay, so we've gotten 2. Let's move on to the next 2. Rob.
John Wick 4.
Oh.
If you're on the John Wick train, you know what you're paying for, you know what you're getting. It delivers it 100%. Every single person who went into John Wick 4 was assuredly going to be satisfied. It was a foregone conclusion. I don't think there was any doubt.
I agree. I really do. It's very difficult to come out of like the most recent in a series and then actually be like, I think that might be the best. I don't know if I'm ready for it to be the best yet.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel the time. It
felt shorter than the third one. It's an hour longer.
And I didn't feel bored at any point. No. And I just think this is Keanu in his most Keanu. I think his first line in the film is I remember everyone in the cinema just started laughing. And it's like, I think it's gotten to the point where we know what we're here for.
Cool stunt work. You cannot stress that enough.
Amazing stunt work.
Can we have an Oscar category for stunt work? This should be the first winner. They were like, first movie, small little thriller. Fourth movie, we're in epic mode. And they go full Lawrence of Arabia with it. I'm like, brilliant.
Love and with that, we should move on to number 4, which is the movie, the only other movie that only one of us has seen, which is Mario, or the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah. It has made so much money.
Yeah.
In fact, let's put it up how much money it's made at this point in time with an asterisk of when I'm editing this, because... And it's only been out for like 2 weeks. It's definitely going to cross a bill. Whether it crosses 2, is it going to outdo Avatar?
No, it can't. No, it can't. People, please. Please. I implore you. Go watch something else.
Yeah, look, it's fun. If you like Mario, even if you don't really give it as much of a shit, I don't, like, everyone in my close circle loves Mario. So we all went, like me, my partner and all his friends and stuff. And it is a really fun kids movie. Like I had
no issue with that.
I had a lot of fun, and the animation is beautiful. Like I remember pulling myself out of it a couple times to be like, this is stunning. Like Illumination has gotten its animation down, and it is standing apart from the Pixar vibe, which I'm enjoying. Not a minion, and very minimal toilet humor, which I was very pleasantly surprised with. It like the movie's 92 minutes, and no boy is it 92 minutes. Like you are. The pacing is all over the place. It is extremely rushed. The story...
So you had fun, but it's rough.
Look, there is a story. Yes. There are characters. Like you could pop a 10-year-old child and below in front of that movie and they're going to have the best 92 minutes of their life. All right. So let's go to the next one. Number 5. We're almost halfway, which is...
A film we saw together, actually.
Yes.
Which was... The Whale. Darren Aronofsky's The Whale.
Oscar-winning,
multi-Oscar winning, starring Brendan Fraser. Fraser?
All the Americans call him Fraser, and he's like, it's Fraser.
Yes. So this one will be interesting because while now a very kind of widely seen art film.
This is art.
Yeah, like, it's like a theatre play that's been shot.
Literally.
And
which is what it is.
Which is what it is. And I think... It's a bit of an interesting one because it hasn't gotten the best reviews from professional critics. It's got like sort of mid-range on the tomato meter.
Neither did Mario, and look at it.
Yeah, but I would say I completely disagree with a lot of the professional critics.
I do.
I'm not a huge Aronofsky fan. I've seen all of his movies, yeah. I think this now makes
that's right. You don't like Mother!
Fucking Mother. I would love to do a retrospective on Mother.
We should do a retrospective. I haven't seen it since the movies.
So we're signposting it now. We're doing a retro on Mother eventually.
On Mother!
Yeah.
It's got an exclamation mark at the end of it, Rob.
Anyway, The Whale is only the third of his films that I've liked.
Wrestler, Black Swan, this.
Yes. So yes, that's right, people. I did not like Requiem for a Dream. Sorry. So, I think The Whale, it was emotional. It was heartfelt. It was well crafted.
And it has one of, for me, the most affecting performances I've ever witnessed.
It was very powerful.
It was, okay, so I'm going to tell them about when we went to see it. And I think if I had not been in a public space, I would have been openly sobbing. Like
the theater was openly sobbing.
But like, I mean openly sobbing, because we walked out and I had this like thing in my chest, and the only way I can identify it is when you are kind of holding in like a deep sob, but you're not letting it out. Like that's what it was, like this weird burning sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's all right, I'm fine. But when it finished, I remember it finished, the credits went up and nobody got up from their seats. And this isn't a movie with an after credit scene, you know? And so then I finally like came out of it and I turned to my right where your wife and our friend, Erin was sitting. And then like you were just there like doing the like man tear wipe away.
I don't cry in movies.
Yeah. And then Guy was just like getting tissues and Erin was just like wiping. And then I turned to my left where my friend Nama was sitting and she was just like, just wet. And then I realized that everyone in the theater had experienced a similar feeling. Like,
well, look, it gets you so involved in the character's journey that you really do feel the emotional push-pull between them, and you long for the catharsis that Charlie is wanting. The only, if I had to give one drawback to the movie, because I do think it's brilliant, the only drawback I give, and this is through no fault of the film really. It's almost like Aronofsky's gone back to the well to a story and a character arc in a format he's already done once. Yeah. Because it has a lot of similarities to The Wrestler.
Yeah.
It goes even down to the details. Like you have somebody who is suffering some kind of thing that's going to kill them. They want to reconcile with a family member and they may or may not have died at the end. Spoiler alert for both movies. So it's the same structure to a T. But I kind of forgive it because I'm like, you know what? It's almost like Scorsese returning to the same
like
thing.
It's not the first
like
time.
Casino,
and
Goodfellas.
I think there's enough difference. And again, just for Brendan Fraser alone, like he is, honestly, I don't say this lightly because I don't think this is actually often the case. I don't think another actor could have pulled it off. I was in it. I was in it, and just for Brendan Fraser alone, like he 100,000% deserved the Oscar.
Thank God he won. Yeah, like, can we just say...
No offense to Austin Butler, but just like...
All the offense to Austin Butler.
Method acting is stupid. Say it.
It is stupid. You know where I stand on
I just want both
acting.
of us to have...
You know where
I know we've talked about it, but I want
it
it on record.
Yes.
Method acting is stupid. The only one who's allowed to do it is Daniel Day-Lewis. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Yeah, so we also both saw this one. Oh, how cute. But look, I was very pleasantly surprised. So this is the movie telling the story about the creation of Air Jordans.
Kind of doesn't really put a foot wrong. It's kind of without, it's not the best biopic ever made. No. It's not the best film I've ever seen, but for what it's attempting to do, it sort of is faultless.
Yeah.
Across the board, great performances. It's shot competently in a way that looks nice and fits the style of the film. It's paced very well. It doesn't have an ounce of fat on it. It's got laughs. It's got heart.
And it feels like it's from the 80s. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm watching something that was like made in the 80s, but has the quality of like now. And I mean by quality, I mean like better tech. You know what I mean? Like the tech's better. The tech's better, Rob. The tech is better than the 80s. The tech of the camera is better. Anyway, it was shot on film. Anyway, let's move on. It's very good. We do recommend, even if you don't like basketball, if you just enjoy a good underdog story, it's just one of those. Yeah.
It avoids what we were both worried about, which is how white savory it was going to get.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I think it handles it quite well because it acknowledges the fact that this is a small, relatively unimportant story in the grand scheme of Michael Jordan's achievement as a legacy.
It's not a white savior. If anything, it's more about how Michael Jordan saved Nike. Anyway, so that was very nice and positive.
Was indeed, wasn't
Let's go on the opposite end of the scale, shall we?
It's the polar opposite, isn't it?
Number 7.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
You didn't like it, Rob?
It begins rather strong. I love a movie that just gets forward momentum into the adventure. It's like, here's Ant-Man, here's Cassie, here's the Wasp. quantum realm projector. Oh my God, we're getting sucked in.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, great, we're here. This is the forward moving adventure. Awesome. And then we're spending fuck knows how long. We've separated the party and half of them are like, where are we? Well, you're here. What's here? Go to the other party. Where are we? You're here. What's here? And you see them learning the same shit at the same rate. And then all of a sudden you're down like 90 minutes and nothing has happened. The CGI overload, I feel it now. I know I've got friends who can be complaining about the CGI overload of these movies. I feel it with this one. I felt gross. It made me feel gross. I'm like, did those actors ever go on a set?
Anyway, let's move on to number 8. Babylon.
Oh God, I forgot about Babylon. All right, you go.
Okay.
I've had my rant. You go, because we agree on Babylon. But you go.
It is so stupid. It is. I'm sorry. I didn't think I would like this film going into it, and then I didn't like this film going into it. There you go. There's my review.
I think I hated Babylon.
I think I did. I never want to watch it again. You know what I mean? Because like, it was 3 hours.
That's not even the problem.
But what I mean is that I felt it. I got so bored multiple times in that fucking movie. And it's, you know what it is? It's an insult to film lovers. Because yes, I'm so sick of this thing where it's like, technically this is what the 20s was like. We're just accurately showing the debauchery. I'm like, yeah, that's all well and good. But like, you have to still know your storytelling limits. And I'm not saying that as someone who like gets offended easily or, you know, like I don't like it when it's not for any reason. Like how I don't enjoy toilet humor when it's not done well, because it's like you just wanted to put that in to shock people.
This might give a bit of perspective for those who haven't seen Babylon, but
the
level of kind of gratuitousness in Babylon makes you look at The Wolf of Wall Street and see its class.
You can just tell that Damien Chazelle was like, I'm fucking brilliant. Like, this is my masterpiece. I'm a genius. Look at this 32-minute one shot or whatever the fuck at the beginning at the party. The whole thing's a long shot. Rah, 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 rah. And it is the same story as The Artist and Singing in the Rain. It has the same beats. It has the same outcomes. It has the same fucking conflicts.
Let's rewind to 2014 when Whiplash came out.
Mm-hmm.
I love that film.
Yep.
Like practically everyone. And I was right there along with every person being like, Damien Chazelle is the best new director. And then with each subsequent movie, we've shown that he's actually not really doing anything other than aping the style of the previous generations of great filmmakers. Mm-hmm. Whiplash was the one time, I think, where he outright took that style as inspiration and made something new. But now we've gotten to the bottom of like where he's just trying to be Scorsese, trying to be T.T. Anderson, trying to be Fincher, and you can feel it. Babylon, the issue is that I've seen it all before.
Literally, the only difference is that it's debaucherous, which isn't even interesting.
Yeah.
And then that ending was just the most gratuitous crap I've ever seen in my life. The most like,
wank,
oh my God, literally like, ugh, I don't want to spend any more moment on this. Let's move on. Number 9.
Glass Onion, A Knives Out story, whatever it's called. Mystery. Yeah, so Glass Onion, I think, first of all, when I watched it, I came out of it and I was like, pretty good. But I had problems with it. Upon even reflecting on it, not that long since I've seen it, the things I had issues with have overtaken the positives in my mind. I think it was kind of disappointing.
I so disagree with you. I loved it so much.
It doesn't hold a candle to Knives Out. It doesn't even come close to Knives Out.
I mean, I think Knives Out is better, yes, but I really enjoyed Glass Onion, and it's higher on my list than Knives Out was on the list of that year's movies. But I had so much fun. I loved it. I thought it was an interesting because they couldn't do what they did in Knives Out, where it's like, oh, the murder's been solved 20 minutes in or whatever. Now when it's not a whodunit, it's a when is she going to get caught sort of thing. And I was like, well, they can't do that again. So what are they going to do differently this time?
Yeah.
And they did something very interesting. And I'm not going to spoil it because I think it's like more fun.
Don't spoil it because look, I will still say that the way that they figured out to do the new angle on the mystery was interesting, and it was the most positive part of the film for me. But I think it's really hard to describe where I felt like it was lacking the same level of class that the first film had. Also, it does the one thing that pisses me off more than anything else when it comes to modern mystery films. Okay, and it's something that's been lost, which mystery films and detective films used to do. They don't play fair anymore. When you watch Chinatown or LA Confidential or the original Murder on the Orient Express, it's structured so cleverly that the clues are right there, but the movie's so smart that it knows you're not going to pick up on them. But if you are attentive enough, you could piece it together, right? Modern detective stuff, and I like Sherlock, but I blame Sherlock for this, are all the clues that could create the solution. There's no fucking way the audience could have spotted it until the detective points it out to you.
Yeah.
And Glass Onion does that. It
takes the game out of it.
It takes the
audience.
Fun out of watching a detective movie,
I think
because there's no way you could have actually picked up on those things.
What's fun for
It's
you.
not fun. It's not fun. It doesn't feel smart. The movie's not smart because it's just
not fun for
it's
you.
just omitting.
But it's not fun for you, but it's fun for me.
It's just omitting
I
the
like
clues.
watching smart people be smart.
But why is it?
I don't want to figure out what's going on. I like
No,
just
but if
taking
the movie
that
does it
going
well
on the ride.
enough, you're
But,
not going
I
to figure
care.
it out.
Like, I don't care about that stuff. Like, it's like, Law and Order episodes or something. Sometimes you just want to watch shit be solved.
But don't you want a detective thing to feel like
I'm not
it
the
got
detective.
you?
I'm not interested in the detective.
I don't think a detective movie should telegraph its clues to you. I think a good detective film should make it possible, but it knows you're not going to spot it because it's too smart. Does that make sense?
Yeah, agree to disagree. Look, and while we're on that vein, let's just round off our 10.
Oh, with another argument.
With another argument.
Okay.
What movie are we talking about? We're talking about Avatar 2, The Way of the Water.
Oh, dear.
Which we're on opposite ends for this.
Not
Rob,
hugely opposite.
Rob really, really likes it.
I think it's a decent movie. I don't love it.
You defended it so much.
Because it's worth defending. It's a good film.
And I think it's all right. I think that, yes, which I also have to say, you're going like, oh, CG is too much in Ant-Man Quantumania. Were they ever on real sets? Blah, 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 blah. But you like Avatar.
I have a justification for that.
What? It's James Cameron, so he's allowed?
No. Kind of. But it's a more structured version of that. The idea being is that when you watch the way that the CG worlds are created in Avatar, they're created with this idea of, okay, if we were on this planet and we were shooting it on location to create a nice story flow and to create some artistry to the visual storytelling, they shot it in that way. There wasn't impossible camera work. There wasn't impossible shots. It was shot in a way that you probably would have to shoot it if you were on location filming water people. And that's why it sells more. So I think the thing with Avatar 2 is I'm not blind to the fact that it's a bunch of cliches strung together.
It is though.
It is, but that doesn't make it bad.
The film is beautiful. Again, like Mario, it's beautiful. Not like Mario, but like Mario, it's beautiful. The visual effects are impossible to ignore and they're fully deserving of the Oscar it won for it, right? However, this story is maybe the most unoriginal story I've seen in 10 years.
So was the first film.
Yeah, but it was less obvious in the first film. In the second film, you know why? And this film does something that I really hate, which is it relies on the fact that it has a fucking sequel.
Let me address the thing about it being so cliche. Okay?
No, let me finish.
Okay. Jesus.
No, because I just had another thing. Because specifically, I want to talk about the stupid bringing back of the bad guy. And also, Sigourney Weaver's weird 16-year-old character, who is clearly Jesus, water Jesus or whatever. And like, they never explain any of it. Ever. Like, not even a little bit. It's not even like, and that's what,
this
but
is
like,
one of those hanging threads that'll be addressed in number 3.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. Fucking so what? Every second movie in a series always has hanging threads. Now, on the note of it being
but that
cliche,
doesn't mean it can't be a complete story. Aliens is a complete story.
aliens, they didn't know they were going to be making a third one. They made
But
one
you
movie
should
at a
always
time.
act like you don't know if you're going to make a third one, because
Well-
otherwise I can't ever go, okay, all of the fucking Harry Potters after between 1 and 8,
Lord,
I can
Lord of
literally
the Rings
pop
Two
in.
Towers has like it is a giant hanging thread.
No, but there's enough there where it's like, I could just watch that one on its own, right? But if I'm going to feel dissatisfied if I pop in Avatar Way of the Water, because I'm going to be like, well, what the fuck is all of this shit going on? And it does the stupid, oh, he's the bad guy. He's not actually bad. And oh, look, the son, who should definitely hate his pure evil dad, is going to save him, even though he has no reason to. And that's just going to come back and bite him in the ass in the next movie. Because this is what's going to happen. Someone's going to find out that he dragged his dad clone thing out of the water. And then he's going to be like, someone's going to find out that he's the one who saved him, and then they're going to be like, oh, you're just a human. You don't care about us. And then Jack Sully is going to like fucking banish him, and then he's going to start integrating with the humans, but he's going to have this like romance with Kiri, which is creepy because Sigourney Weaver's playing Kiri, and she's a 70-year-old woman who's very clearly being set up to have a love story with a 16-year-old boy or character, which is super weird and creepy. And they're going to have this weird romance thing, and then it's all going to be forgiven at the end when Jake Sully recognizes the, problems of his ways and is like, oh, you've always been like a son to me, even though you saved your dad. And then that's what's going to happen.
Okay, well, first of all, when Avatar 3 comes out, when all that does happen, we'll go back to this video and see how right you were. But third attempt to address the cliche.
Yes.
Sure. Every single person on the planet can predict where these Avatar movies are going to go, but I'm going to relate it to both of them because they both play the same game in terms of how cliched the stories are. And yes, James Cameron is doing something very smart in how he structures his stories. He's not making the most complex sci-fi ex machina type story here because he thinks, okay, you can have a complex story, you can have a complex narrative, but if the narrative isn't clear, the complexities are not going to matter. So therefore, by just having an easy to plug in story, Avatar 1, it's Last Samurai, easy to plug in. Avatar 2, every single sci-fi cliche you've ever seen, easy to plug in. You can plug in easily, therefore you don't need to be thinking about the story too much while you're watching it. You can just get immersed in the world, which is why the visual effects are as good as they are. And the more easily you are immersed, the more easily you're going to be swept up in the story, regardless of how complex it all is.
But I wasn't swept up because I was distracted by all the cliches. Like, what the fuck's going on with Edie Falco's character? She just shows up and then is like, I'm going to terraform and destroy all your family.
Hanging thread to number
Bye!
3. Hanging thread.
Also, they abandoned their family and like the people they've been with for years are now their family, and they spend all this time saving them in the last movie, and they're like, la la la, we're going to the water tribe now. Never again addresses the tree tribe that has been terraformed out of existence. No, it's never addressed. Once they leave, they never hear from them again.
They do address it. He leaves because he doesn't want to put them in danger.
But they're already in danger. They're getting terraformed.
Yeah, and that's the lesson that he learns by the end, is that he mustn't run. He must stand and fight for his people. But he doesn't. He stands and fights with the water people, not the tree people. I'm sure in the third movie he's going to go.
No, because he's going to go to the fire tribe and then the earth tribe, and then he's going to be the Avatar.
He's going
to come full circle.
He's going to bring all the tribes together.
And then he's going to be Avatar the Last Airbender, and then then the name will finally make sense.
I can't believe I'm fighting this hard to defend a film that I give like a 7, okay? Like, the point is, it's like
But this is what I mean. I understand what you're saying, and I think you have some very good points, but I think it's lazy, and I think just because it is the easiest way doesn't mean it's the right way, because it distracted me the whole fucking movie.
But it's not lazy. It's very clever. The way that he just
No,
thinks,
it's not,
the way that he's just like, okay, I'm going to get you immersed in the film. You know this character type. You know this theme type. You know this story point. Here they are. Don't even think about it. Now you can just enjoy looking at the world and how they connect their things to the things and get immersed in the world. And therefore,
here's 3 hours and 12 minutes of it.
Work.
And I think that's part of the problem.
When the sun died, I got teary.
Oh, I was like, well, no,
I saw it coming a mile away, but I still got teary.
He's literally the character in Pocahontas with the bear paws on his chest. That guy.
That guy. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The ignorance counter again.
Anyway, let's move on to ratings. Let's doing it. So we're just going to go through each movie. We're going to each give our own quick rating, and then we're going to figure out the combined and then move on. And obviously, if it's a movie that like one of us hasn't seen, then that person will neg on their ability to rate.
Got it.
Quick reminder of the rating scale. Do you want to give a quick reminder, Rob?
Here it is on the screen.
Talk us through it. I
Um,
want to see if you remember them.
so 1 star is cold trash.
Yep.
2 stars is hot garbage.
Yep.
3 stars is socks of Christmas.
Yeah.
4 stars is hot soup.
Yep.
And 5 stars is shining treasure.
Yay.
Which actually, you know, it's hilarious though.
What?
We've got socks at Christmas as being like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But at the most recent Christmas, we did a stealing Santa.
Yeah.
There was a lot of socks on offer, and they were the most popular thing I'd ever seen.
So anyway, we're getting distracted.
Tangent.
Let's go. All right, we've got the rating system. We've got the plan.
All right,
Let's
so
go with number
hit me
1.
with the movie.
We got Shazam 2.
Hot garbage.
Neg, so it's a hot garbage.
It's a hot garbage.
Then, number 2, we've got Dungeons and Dragons. Ooh. I don't think it's quite a shining treasure. Like, it's not the best thing I've ever seen in the world. I'd say it's like a hot treasure. Like,
You got to
like,
pick one.
all right, it's a hot soup.
There you go.
It's a hot soup. Like, I'm thoroughly satisfied. I might end up going up, but right now it's a hot soup.
Yeah.
And it's an egg, so it's a hot soup. We're staying there. Number 3, first movie we've both seen, John Wick 4.
Shining treasure.
I agree.
There you go.
One of the few. Cool, shining treasure. Number 4, we got Mario.
Mhm.
It's a hot garbage.
It's a hot garbage. Sorry, Marco, my brother.
It is. Like, you know what I mean? It's fun,
Yeah.
but it's stupid. You can put that on the Blu-ray cover. Put that on the VHS cover.
We need to be certified critics first.
Okay. We should be. Whoever it is certifies. Number 5, let's go. Whale.
Oh,
The Whale.
shining treasure.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Okay, The Whale. Or Shining Treasure, I should say.
Mhm.
Shining Treasure. Very shining. Brendan Fraser.
Mhm.
Number 6, Air.
Hot soup.
I agree. Yes. Hot soup. Very satisfying. Not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but I would watch it. I'll buy it on Blu-ray
Yep.
to use a Jeremy Johns.
Great.
Number 7, Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Hot garbage.
I'm having a brain aneurysm. I don't know where it should land. Yeah, all right. We'll put it in hot garbage.
Yes.
Put it in hot garbage. Vindication. For those Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans out there.
Vindication!
Number 8, Babylon.
Cold trash.
The coldest.
Cold trash.
I'm talking Antarctica before climate change. Like like that is
Wow.
That is how cold that fucking garbage is. That trash rather. And you know what? La La Land is too. Anyway, moving on.
Whoa.
No, we're moving on to number 9, Glass Onion.
Socks at Christmas.
Shining Treasure.
You're fucking kidding me.
I'm not. I really liked it. Like, I really liked it.
So it's a hot soup.
It's a hot
according to-
soup. It's a hot soup. I'm happy with that. And finally, Avatar 2.
Hot soup.
Hot garbage.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. So it lands at Socks at Christmas.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm
James
sorry.
Cameron is crying into his money right now.
Yeah, I'm not sorry to James Cameron. I'm sorry to, I don't know, people who enjoyed the movie.
They can enjoy it. I'm just like, I really like Avatar 1 too.
I think I like
As well.
I like Avatar 1 and 2 at the same level, I think.
You know what? Thanks for taking a break with Clean Slate.